Hi, I'm Pete Wannett. I'm the executive producer for Universal Interactive Entertainment, and we're here today to show Wanted: Weapons of Fate.
She was a whore.
You can tell her that. They'll kill all the passengers. Just try and get me. I'm gonna need another way off this plane. Think, damn it. The cockpit has an emergency hatch and parachutes.
So I let Cross sort of introduce himself. I guess for the record, what I should probably start out with is a huge spoiler alert. If you have not seen the movie Wanted and you do not want to have its twist endings spoiled for you, you should probably know that we'll be talking about it in depth. This level is called Fear of Flying, and essentially we pick up with you playing as Cross. You've assassinated a target on board a massive airliner, and by doing so you've alerted the fraternity of assassins that are operating the airline. This is a different fraternity than the one seen in the movie, a fraternity of French assassins who, as explained in the game, are a more militant branch and take the code of the loom to an unbelievable degree, even harsher than the fraternity seen in the film. I should start off by saying that Timur Bekmambetov, who's the director of the film, actually had written an unbelievably huge comprehensive document detailing how all the fraternity structures worked, and most of those fraternity structures were all modeled on the Mark Millar supervillain factions within the comic book, so that if you ever look at the movie and the comic book, those correlations, just as they're very true in the movie, also are true in the backstory. And we use this amount of information basically to set up the storyline for Wanted: Weapons of Fate, the game. And basically by doing that, we actually had brought on John Zerplatten, who had written was part of the writing team who had written Chronicles of Riddick for us. And we brought him on to write Weapons of Fate, largely because he was incredibly familiar with Mark Millar's work and just had a sensibility and understood the sensibility that what we wanted from the game was something that really matched the film, but still kept a lot of the tone of the comic book. So I think we're sort of a nice mix between the both. While we're clearly set in Timur's world of Wanted, we bring a lot of the Mark Millar stuff back. As Cross comes up the elevator and the members of the fraternity have gassed the passengers on board, he dons the suit. It's another example of how we sort of bring back the comic book elements. Part of that, getting the suit back into the game, it's just, it was really one. It's so iconic. If you've seen any of the J.G. Jones artwork, you know how much of an influence that suit plays, especially on the comic book covers. I should point out today that driving while I talk over our game here is associate producer Ryan French, who's blown out the doors of the aircraft, starts the aircraft shaking. The team, Grin Barcelona, who's the developer who did the game, wanted to really make sure you felt when you had the guns that you controlled more than just destruction, that you could sort of create and change your environment. As he grabs a fraternity member here and shoots out the door, and another one gets sucked out, he can walk up to the door and slice his throat and toss him out, or he can use him as a bulletproof vest. So then there the body goes. So you'll notice the core mechanics right away, and you've seen a couple of them. The primary one from the movie is bullet curving. You'll notice Ryan can take the directional and turn it 360 degrees around. What he's looking for is that line to turn white, and then once he does, he has a clear shot. If he locks on a clear headshot, you can get a camera trail that will follow the bullet in. And curving bullets, you wanted to be able to do it around corners, around obstacles, above objects. You can also hit multiple objects as well as hit, you don't have to just hit people, you can actually hit items in the environment. So if Ryan were to take a curved bullet, aim it onto the fire extinguisher, he can hit the fire extinguisher, that'll act as a fuse and blow out the door. You can use that to set up how you attack your opponents. We saw Ryan grab one of the enemies and throw him out the door before. Here he grabs one of the enemies and will actually bring him in and use him as a bulletproof vest. So all the bullets that will fire now will hit the body of the person that you are dragging through the airplane and not you. They'll also be a little more hesitant to fire that way. But a nice headshot still puts him down. And that body can only take so much damage, and after a while, it will disintegrate into a bloody mess all over your suit. Another good reason, I guess, to have the suit in the game. So we talked about the curved bullet mechanic a little bit. We also wanted to have close quarter combat. So you see that whenever Ryan gets too close to an opponent, he has the ability to use a melee maneuver. In the movie, Wesley is taught by the Butcher how to use melee kills, and we thought that was an important part of the game that we should definitely include. Definitely makes the game feel, more action-oriented when you get close up. Part of the thing about bullet curving, while it works really, really well from far away, it can be tricky when you're very close unless you get very good at it, as Ryan will show you in a little bit. But to have that melee mechanic in there as well allows you to get really up front and close. The other thing it does is if you played a lot of third-person shooters, you end up getting so close with your opponent, and trying to shoot somebody in third person can be really, really frustrating when that person's right there. You're like, holy shit, that guy's like 2 feet away from me. How can I not fucking kill him? And so what we wanted to do was anytime a guy gets that close, you're able to just simply hit the circle button and jump through and have a melee attack. Another mechanic, so when Ryan is behind these things, he's able to jump out into what we call assassin time, but basically is you've seen in other games like Max Payne and in The Matrix, which is that bullet time. So he'll jump out of cover here and line up a bunch of guys. He can shoot multiple opponents. This is helpful to shoot if you're sort of overwhelmed and need to slow things down. And as long as he's successful with his kills, those 2 bullets up in the right-hand corner that turn red, those are adrenaline. And when you have a certain amount of adrenaline, it allows you to pull off different kinds of moves. In this case, Ryan is able to use it for curved bullets or for enhanced quick movements, which is our version of assassin time.
I have the last parachute, Cross. There is no escape for you here.
Why? Why'd you do it?
Have you asked yourself the same question? Elise would be alive if you hadn't infected her with your seed.
That seed has a name.
Wesley, yes I know, and I have something of his, Cross. This.
You son of a bitch!
Only mortel. Or maybe you will learn to fly.
Shit. I can't fly, you asshole. But I can drive.